general perception of the greatest of all time argument is that many people believe that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. However, some arguments come up that he's not a clean athlete. He comes from an era that we've seen athletes in his prime, they were taking drugs, and he beat them dominantly. So, given the fact that we do know that Jon Jones has tested positive multiple times for performance-enhancing drugs that were banned on the list, not necessarily testosterone derivatives like Turinabol. I would say he took Turinabol and preferably some androgen blocking receptors that which very correlated when you go on a cycle of testosterone, your androgen levels or your estrogen levels get some balance, and you take these drugs to balance them after your cycle. So coming back to the argument of the greatest of all time, we're seeing that although lighter weight classes like welterweight or even featherweights, we're seeing dominant champions that did far better in their resume than Jon Jones. They're not considered as the greatest of all time. One good example of this would be the champion who defended its title the most at this current time is Demetrius Johnson, a flyweight champion for the UFC, who gave spectacular performances throughout the years, but he's not in the top greatest of all time in any shape or form. Now, the leader, the CEO, and the boss of the UFC considers Jon Jones the greatest of all time. Myself, will include him in top 3 or top 2 greatest performance athletes of all time. Now, one perception that people have when they think about unconsciously about who is the greatest of all time, there would be this scenario that rises unconsciously and people relate to that person. So for example, let's say aliens come to this planet and instead of destroying us and we go into a war, we're both gonna put one representative of our species in a octagon cage, and they're gonna go to fight. Whoever wins will win that race and will give up. So given the stats that have better technology, our rate for die would be so low, we accept this challenge when we need to put some human, anyone on this cage to fight this alien who we have not seen before. We don't know what the shape of it and what his abilities are. So many people, when we try to solve this problem, the problem that is who should be chosen as a representative of humankind in fighting the aliens in octagon cage, the clear answer would be someone who has physical advantages in the cage, meaning that we want someone who has length, who is strong, who is good endurance, we don't know how long the fight would take, who is cerebral, who can change his tactics over time, who is good everywhere. There might be, let's say, a bear or someone who has the alien could look like a bear and he's very good at grounding. So the athlete being a boxer would have disadvantages. And the athlete who has a good wrestler might pull off the strength of a bear. So another problem would say that if you want to send this person to fight aliens, we're going to gather all the science teams in the board can provide, especially performance-enhancing drugs. The matter comes up cerebral. We're not going to just send him clean. We're not going to use any testing in him. We're going to give him all the steroids that he wants. We're going to give him all the APEs, EPOs, every drug that is created by mankind that would improve his advantages, even with 1%, we're gonna put it on him. Even though that it might risk his health, we're gonna put him on those drugs. We might do some construction on his body, we might cut his legs, put iron with it, we might make him like a cyborg. And this is where the future of UFC would be. It would be cyborgs fighting each other. It would be athletes who are enhanced in every shape or form, and they have the ability to reach the peak of their abilities fighting. Even said that, we know that Jon Jones is a very good user. His body reacts phenomenally with PEDs. He looks fantastic, even at times that he was clearly tested positive for it. We don't see any. Sometimes we see these scars, like acne scars in here. That doesn't mean that he's clean, especially these bumps, kind of very susceptible. Now, another argument is Barnett just put Brock Lesnar in this. Really because of the cerebral. He's a very cerebral fighter. He's good everywhere. Brock Lesnar tends to be a good wrestler, but not a good striker. So that's another argument that people say, why not send Brock Lesnar? We could send him, but we're not going to choose to. Furthermore, I would say that I always put this argument out there. Maybe it's better to allow athletes to take whatever drugs that they want, PDs or not, but provide medical assistance, provide medical observance, so that they don't get that much side effects from their workouts. I prefer Jon Jones to take any drugs that he wants. He's a grown man, he's an adult. He can choose to take drugs that shorten his lifespan for 5 years, but he thinks that in those 5 years he might reach his potential. That's the way he wants to live. He shouldn't be punished for taking the drugs or get arrested for have a position of these testosterone or steroids.